was just reading an article about why Gaza is an open-air prison. It was so full of distortions and context dropping that it was unreal. Yes, I mean, one of the really, 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 really sad things that you're seeing on the internet is the extent to which people are ignorant, the extent people don't care that they're ignorant, to the extent people are make stuff up. They can't think, really can't think. I mean, this is why I said so many of these big L libertarians are brain dead. They really can't think. And this open-air prison is a great example. I mean, why is it an open-air, what makes it an open-air prison? The fact that, it is true that when the border with Gaza was completely open and, Palestinians came into Israel during certain periods of time, and particularly during the early 2000s, they used the opportunity to come into Israel to blow up buses, to blow up coffee shops, to engage in violence. Israel decided it had enough, and it closed the border with them. It still allows about several thousand, maybe I think up to 20,000 of them to come into Israel every day to work. It hasn't since obviously the massacre, but it still does. They still are able to come and work. But even there, some of those people now, it turns out, participated in what Hamas did. Maybe they were already, spying and figuring out where the weaknesses of the system were. So it's not a prison, and to the extent that it feels like a prison, that's Hamas' choice. You engage in violence, you suffer the consequence of violence. Now, the other aspect of this is they're free to leave by boat, to go anywhere they want, as long as it's inside Israel. And to the extent that countries won't accept them as immigrants, they're the ones holding them back. To the extent that the border with Egypt is closed and they cannot go to Egypt, one has to ask, why does Egypt not want these people? Why is Egypt blocking their path? Maybe because they don't want people with a militant, Islamist, totalitarian ideology. They've got enough of ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt without importing some Hamas. So the conditions in Gaza, every aspect of the conditions in Gaza, are the fault of the Palestinians. Every single one of them. And they had every opportunity. Still have every opportunity. All we have to do now is Hamas needs to surrender, disarm. I'm sure money will flow in there. And instead of taking that money that's been flowing in billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars of Arab money, of Western money, of American money has flowed in there, instead of using that money to build weapons and to basically subjugate their own population, the new leadership of the Gaza Strip can use that money to rebuild and create industry and build hotels and build infrastructure and create a paradise in Gaza. There's no reason. And if it turns out that let me one more point about this. Hamas rules a state. It's basically a state. Gaza is a country where the ruling political party, in its manifesto, declares that it wants to eradicate its neighbor. It wants to eradicate Israel. Now, think about that. You've got a neighboring country that wants to eradicate you. And people are saying you should have open borders with them. People are saying, you should give them electricity and water and provide them with cement so they can build tunnels, provide them with metal so they can build weapons, might as well just provide them with the weapons to kill you. I mean, it's just, the stupidity of this, the ignorance involved is just unbelievable. And that's why I'm saying it's immoral. These people are immoral. They don't want to think. They don't want to look at reality. They are evasive, immoral idiots. Ignorant idiots. Can you be an ignorant idiot? Yeah, sure, you can be an ignorant idiot. You're an idiot and you're ignorant. It's bizarre. How can you have a government that believes in eradicating its neighbor and not have it closed off, right? Not having closed off. It's absurd. Yeah, everything in Gaza is Gazans' fault. They elected the Hamas, they support the Hamas, they work for Hamas, they haven't fled, they haven't left, they've stayed there, they haven't put pressure on Egypt to leave, they haven't risen up to replace Hamas. Indeed, the majority of Palestinians still support Hamas. It's their fault. Now, is it the fault of the children? Of course not, but children always suffer for the decisions that their parents make, or benefit if the decisions are good decisions.